Our next game is Palace against Stoke. I think Benteke is a good signing for Palace. They're 20-21. Stoke are in disarray in my opinion. They're 3-1 and the draw is at 12-5. I think Palace started slowly. I think if they can get the service into Benteke, he will prove a big hit this season.
That's the crucial thing, because for Crystal Palace, they're a progressive club. They're in London, so they're going to be able to be a catch for buying premium players. Players want to play in London. So they've got Christian Benteke that scored on his debut. As an Aston Villa fan, and watched him, if you give him service, he scores 20 goals a season. At Liverpool, lots of playing and around him, but not getting him the ball quickly. So at home, Selhurst Park, you've got the likes of Punchin, Zaha, around him now. Yannick Bolasie, of course, has gone to Everton. But they've got enough pace around him. Johan Caboye is a real creative influence.
Townsend.
Andros Townsend, of course, has come into the side from Newcastle this season. Stoke City, I don't know what's happened, because having been to Stoke many times over the last few years, they've changed their player profile from hard-working, Tony Pulis back four, keep clean sheets, grind teams down, to all of a sudden conceding, 7 or 8 goals in the last 2 games, and that will create alarm bells. They have got talent, and they may well fancy going down there, particularly at Selhurst Park, where Palace haven't had a good time of it since the end of last season. But with Benteke giving him service, keeping him involved in the game, I'm going to go for a clear Palace 2-0 victory. Mark Hughes may be one of the early runners and riders for the sack race, along with Tony Pulis and maybe David Moyes, if they get another gubbing this weekend against
Spurs away. When it moves us onto our last game, the Black Cats are 9-1, 4-1 the draw, and Spurs one of the shortest price on the accumulator at 3-10. Although they've suffered a defeat in the Champions League. You've already spoke about how much burnout Harry Kane is obviously suffering at the moment. But even with all that taken into consideration, I mean, Everton battered Sunderland. To be fair, it could have been 6 or 7. Is this going to be another drubbing?
It is, and like I say, I feel for David Moyes. I went out of my way in the Ball Sports column to say to Sunderland fans earlier on in the season that were saying to me, look, what we need is boring. A manager that, we've had Paolo Di Canio, we've had Steve Bruce, we've had Martin O'Neill. It didn't work for whatever reason. They've spent a few quid over a number of years, but there's an ageing player group at Sunderland. I think that they'll be desperately disappointed with the Everton result in particular, because they didn't lay a glove on the Toffees throughout the game, and Romelu Lukaku ran absolute riot. So you'd think down at White Hart Lane, a reaction is usually what they get. Maurizio Pochettino, in the same kind of mould as a Klopp and as a Pep Guardiola, he gesticulates, he demands things from his players. So he'll be looking for a reaction. They'll be delighted to be playing at White Hart Lane. It'll be a game that I'll be at. So I'm really looking forward to watching it at close quarters, watching Sunderland as much as anything, because the expectation this season was David Moyes to keep them up and to keep them up comfortably. I think that, like I say, when we start to get to the end of October, early November, and we're talking about the sack race, David Moyes unfortunately is going to be there. Clear win for Spurs. I'm going to go 3-1. I will give Sunderland a goal. Welcome to Boyle Sports. Join today, place a tenner bet, and you'll get 20 quid in free bets. Come on!